Welcome in, welcome in, welcome once again to the newest edition of 3 In, 3 Out, the most unique Seahawks recap show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner, and I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandan Schultz. And Brandan, we were once 3-0. We're now 3-3. We're live, buddy. It's Saturday. How are you? It's Saturday, isn't it? For you?
It feels Saturday-ish.
Yeah.
So let's call it Saturday.
Yeah, let's call it. Let's call the whole thing off while we're at it. I kind of wish the Seahawks called the whole thing off, Brandan. I got to be honest. When it was 3 days, this is just like last year, man. 3 games in like 11 days, and boom, 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 3-0, and knocked right back down to second place in the division and losing to rivals again, Brandan.
Oh boy, yeah. And it's tough because, and I've said this before. I feel like that. We had that ability to really knock the 49ers down is what I think bothers me the most about this, because you heard from 49ers fans, you even heard from 49ers players talking about how this was a must-win game. And if you can make players lose what they feel like as a must-win game, it probably didn't feel like a must-win game to our Seahawks, because I don't think there's
it must not have. I'll tell you that much.
I just don't think that there's those expectations for the team the way the players for the 49ers coming off of a Super Bowl. I think you feel like those expectations are there.
Yeah, and they are just not there for us. I think that's 6 in a row now that we've lost to the stupid 49ers. But hey, they're a little better than we are right now is what it boils down to. However, Brandan, Brandan, you take it away. You put the thing on the screen. Talk about it.
We've got our live executive producer, Ryan911, in the chat with a $9.99 super chat saying, ready for 3 ins today. Let's go. Clinton, this is a show called 3 In, 3 Out. We have ins. We also have outs. But Ryan is just ready for the ins.
He's ready. Yeah. I wish we had 6 ins, all ins. We can't quite do that. But what I will say, though, for sure, is on the rewatch, I was vomiting less. I was vomiting less than Laviska Shenault, Brandan. That is for darn sure. It was less painful than I thought it was going to be in different ways. That is to say, there is some good stuff here. And there was a lot of, the season's over. And actually I put a poll up on YouTube this morning that I'll get to as well. And for anybody that's watching this for the first time, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Brandan, tell them what they should be doing to get into the flock, though, and be great flockers like Ryan, Carcar, hanging out in the Discord. What should they do?
Yeah, if you're watching out on YouTube, be sure and give us a like, subscribe to the show. If you want to help support the show, you can hit the join button out on YouTube, and that gives you some handy dandy membership badges and some little emotes that you can throw up during the show, unlike Laviska Shenault. But, I'm sure he wishes they were just emotes. If you want to become a member through getintheflock.com, that's our Patreon page, and you can help support us there as well. And there it is up on screen. There's the subscribe button. There's the join button. There's the youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. All the things, making it so easy. Hey, we got to pair the visual with the audio. It's what we do. I put this poll up on YouTube just like a couple hours ago, which was kind of cool to see so many people jump on it. It was like over 100 right away. And the poll, in case you're not watching, was basically, what are we? Are we a 7-win or less team? Are we an 9-win team that might be wild cardish, 9-win, 10-win team wild cardish? Or are we an 11+ win team who's still going to take the NFC West? Brandan, why don't you read the results live to the people? I just like the fact that we have fans that are primarily optimists, because we're cultivating our audience by maybe what we present, because I think you'll like, are always optimistic. And 6% believe we are still winning the NFC West, 11+ wins. I love that group. 9 to 10 wins, wild card-ish, 50%. So yes, the majority still, 56% believe we are a playoff team potentially, and 7 wins or less team, 44%. I can feel why after 3 straight losses that you would want to click that button for sure.
I understand it. All is not lost. Now we got to go play a pretty good Atlanta team, or at least a streaking Atlanta team, and then a Buffalo team, and then a Rams team that always gives us some fits before a bye. So man, it's just like, can we just can we do 2-1 the next 3 somehow, some way? But before we can look to the future, we got to learn from history. And that's what 3 and 3 out is all about. So Brandon, I titled this whole thing Lost Cause ? But we did not win. We do not start with an in. We're starting with an out. But guess what, Brandon? Guess what I have prepared for the flockers watching because they said they liked it. What do you think?
What are we doing?
What do you think I had prepared? Because they said they liked it last week. We said, do you like this? They said, yes, we like it. We want more of it.
I don't even, was I on the show last week?
I think so. It was the videos. We went to the videos.
Oh, okay. That was new?
It was new. It was we never did video before last week. So never, ever.
I don't pay attention to this sort of thing. I'm just, it felt the exact same to me.
I love it. Okay, well, we do have some videos and we're going to get to it right now. So, and of course, there it is again. Love you to subscribe. I'll pause it right there just so we can lay the land here and they pull it off screen. 3rd and 2. It's 10-10 to go in the first quarter, 0-0 ball game. Niners backed up. It's 3rd and 2 here, right? And I would title this one for me. I think I wrote actually in the deck there that this one's all about angles. I'll let it play forward and we'll talk about it a little bit. And this is the only video available at this time, which is from Prime. It's kind of cool that they give you all the wigglies, squigglies. But as you can see here, Brandon, that's Jerome Baker. And I played a few times over. This is 3rd and 2. You've got help on the inside with Leo Williams. He's there. Like Leo Williams was a beast again. We'll talk about Leo a bit later. But Baker, again, with what is just bad angles, man. And I'll play a few more times forward here. Just why so straight? I mean, look at the boundary. Like, what are we protecting against here? He's on Leo's hip. You're a linebacker, dude. No way should he be getting to your outside when there's room on the boundary. And then I brought it in just a little bit tighter. It's like, dude, no. Brandon, I have a few more angles there, but just in general, Baker had some struggles. I saw some good from Baker when I went back. It wasn't all bad by any means.
Yeah.
But he's our linebacker. He's
bad.
He's fast. He should be taking a better angle here. And this is a big play early where he just needs to make this tackle. Purdy should be like forced out of bounds at like the worst, forced out of bounds, or he has to throw it away with, while scrambling. No way should he be going for a first down here, Brandon. But your thoughts, please.
All these lines on the screen are giving me PTSD from hanging up spider webbing or for Halloween decorations around the house. Have you ever had to do that?
Yeah.
It's not fun. And all these lines I'm having a hard time with. But I also have a hard time with Jerome Baker's tackling. This wasn't just his one bad play either. No. He took a bad angle here. He also was out on coverage on not Travis Kelce, their linebacker, George Kittle. Yeah. And he allows him like the entire sideline. I don't know if he just expected Kittle that he was just going to run out of bounds and not actually catch a pass over there, but didn't go with him. Allowed him out in zone coverage. And then, yes, this one is a little bit less offensive because he actually got his hand on Purdy.
Yeah, I guess. But the other one is just as bad too, or maybe even worse. Bad moment also. And just, you could see Kittle like come up like right across his grill. It's like Kittle's on the outside and just kind of does like a little hokey doke and he's off to the edge. And it's clearly his to the boundary, but it's like, yeah. So just mistakes. But even with the Kittle one, Brandon, he also looks back for like safety help and there's nobody home. So it is just mistakes and execution, but it's a combination of they're not gelling for sure yet. And then when you compound that with just bad tackling, this is bad tackling, dude. These are supposed to be our best linebacker. He's got to make this tackle and just get them off the field, but they don't, Brandon. So, all right. Well, anyway, I called that one, as I said here, knowing all the angles. Is the whammy ready? Because I won't even ask about the 3D printer. That thing needs to be restarted, rekindled, resurfaced. But is the whammy there for us?
I do have the whammy.
All right, then let's whammy. Oh dear. Okay. All right. In number 1. So let us get right back to it here, and let me just play that forward. There we go. All right, perfect. And I'll bring it up on screen once again here. All right, again, we're doing all video, so hope you like it. So we got 3rd and goal here. What I like about this, Brandon, is, you know what? Let me just show you this real quick, people. I call this one. This might be a little bit of a hint. Where do you think I'm going, Brandon? What do you think this is all about?
Earns is who I think of.
Oh, of course.
When I see Mr. Burns.
See Montgomery Burns. And of course, we might be talking about Artie Burns, and we are already. So let's go look at the video here of Artie Burns doing some good things. This is the 3rd down and goal play. Tries to be a quick little fade. You got a little bunch right, and we see a different angle later. And this is just beautifully played. And I think Artie Burns overall, I think he played pretty well. You know, for a dude that's been in the NFL, ups, downs, kind of a not great start to his career, then a bit of a rebirth, and he was a pretty high pick, and then he's down on practice squads, and he gets pulled up from practice squads. Brandon, I feel in general when Artie Burns plays, he plays pretty well. I'm not saying he's shut down corner every day of the week here, but this, again, we have this on screen here. So you got it. The cool part for me, Brandon, is they're clearly in like man, but you also got to suss this little bunch formation the Niners doing, and Shanahan, he knows how to scheme people open. We saw that again. And if you watch on Burns, he's got to fight through a little bit of traffic there, and he just makes a beautiful play. This is, a little bit of hand fighting, which I liked against a strong receiver with Debo, and just up at the right moment, and then bam, just bats it down. Nothing there. What do you think of C. Montgomery, Artie Burns getting it in?
Yeah, he kept his. I feel like that was one of those plays that maybe could have been called for, but both those guys going at it in terms of their hand fighting and that sort of thing. Yeah, and he was looking back for the ball the whole way too. So good for Artie in terms of how he graded out pretty well. Only out there for 14 snaps. Unfortunately, he did get hurt, but with them using him out of the slot, it does kind of make you wonder too. With Trey Brown having some issues with the injury to Woolen too, could we see, when healthy, Artie Burns playing more out of the slot and using Witherspoon more on the outside along with Woolen?
Could be. And I know people, one of the talk tracks of the year so far, 6 games in, is that Spoon doesn't look quite as dynamic, quite as like weaponized. Obviously, sacks are down, no interceptions. I don't think he has a sack yet. And the promise of the McDonald offense was kind of the exact opposite, right? The Kyle Hamilton role, the guy's going to fly in from everywhere. So I don't know the extent of Burns's injury or Trey Brown, who got hurt as well, and Pritchett had to come in. It's only Saturday after a Thursday game. I'm assuming we don't know Butkus yet about that. Is that correct?
That's, yeah. As far as McDonald and injury news, the day after the game, we weren't getting much.
Yeah, not getting much. Okay, well, Artie Burns played pretty darn good. That was a nice play. Had a nice stop later on a crosser also. Again, it wasn't all bad, but it wasn't all good. We got to get to some more of the outs. Hit that whammy, please. Okay, out number 2. What did I call this one? Oh, yeah, I call this one Woof. I go the man. Oh man. You probably know where I'm going with this one, because we don't usually talk about like what's going to be what, but we had a small text exchange that was like, dude, if this one's not on there, I don't know what an out is, right? So so let's go back to the videotape here. And again, I hope folks are liking the video. Drop a comment, not just here on the live chat, but when the video's over or back on, like, what do you want to call, like, YouTube proper, not the premiere, but the comments under the video. Drop a comment, tell us what you like in the vids, or tell us you don't, whatever, but that's okay. But hit us with the comments. We want to know if you like this version a little bit better. I kind of like it. It's more fun. I get to play with it a bit more too, which I think is kind of cool. All right. So we're going to look at this real quick. Oh, and real quick on screen. Before we go, we got what? Dizay 91. I think the young cat Byron Murphy might be the missing piece on defense these last few games. I mean, it's a thesis. I think he could only help, but I also look at Hankins and Leo and some of the things we did, and we'll look at that in a few more ins and outs. And I'm not sure he's the missing piece. It's like, I think, yes, it would bolster the defensive line, but last I checked, Byron Murphy doesn't play linebacker. or guard for that matter.
No, neither of those positions, but maybe you should.
Maybe you should. Let's see maybe why, right? So let's go to this one, this out we entitled Woof. All right, so here we go. So just set the stage here. We got 3rd and 3. It's only 3-0, right? It's a 3-0 game. Start of the second quarter. I'll talk a bit more about like the first half defense was actually pretty good. Yes, the 76-yarder to Debo, dreadful and not forgivable. Bad angle by Love. The rest of it, they played well, like short field, 76-yard touchdown, the fumble by LaVisca, interception by Geno. There was actually good run fits in the first half. But it's plays like this. We're back on the offensive side, and we got the ball 3rd and 3 at our own, about 35-yard, 35-yard line. Geno's in shotgun. They've got them all spread out, right? So they got like 4 wide, spreading the defense out, and you got K9 in the backfield. And this, we talked about our ability that, hey, K9 had 8 catches. He had 7 last week. That's a lot of targets and touches for K9 receiving wise. But Brandon, I know you know about this play, but for the folks at home, Geno has to get rid of it quick. They sell the screen.
Yeah.
Connor Williams.
You can see right here, there's 4 guys all rushing for Geno. So they did not see this coming.
Yeah, did not see it coming. A well set up screen, which again, we're screening okay. Geno does the thing. This is not an easy throw. I paused it right here. Little sidearm, boom, right to Walker. And if you just look on screen right now, you're like, okay, if this was basketball, you're coming down the court, you'd say we got numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's hockey, this would be a what do they call that? Not a breakaway, but an odd man rush, right? An odd man rush. Or they got numbers. In football, usually it just means you're in good position to make some freaking blocks. Brandon, who do we want people to focus on? Because I know you know the answer.
I do know the answer. Kenneth Walker is receiving the football right here. There's 2 Niners on screen that are probably closest to him. Mm-hmm. You have Connor Williams at number 51, who is blocking one of the 57, blocking one of the linebackers and lined up in position to do it. Mm-hmm. You've got 64 and 70, who Fred Warner. Man, I'm struggling with names today. Fred Warner is probably the guy that you need to worry the most about. You only need 3 yards, and K9 is receiving the ball on the the 35. So he only needs to fall forward about 3 yards. He's catching it right at the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Only needs to fall forward. You just got to make sure and get a dude on a dude, and Tomlinson decides to run in the gap and I don't know, try and block a safety that's 40 yards downfield. I don't know. So, I mean,
Haynes, I understand that Haynes was supposed to be on Fred Warner. I get that. And he's trying, I show it a couple more times too. So don't fret. And I was showing it here on YouTube, if you're listening on audio, trying to paint the picture for you. But Haynes disengages his guy a little bit later than Williams does, but they sell it well. And look, Fred Warner's really good, right? He's already sprinting horizontally. He recognizes, okay, I know a screen when I see a screen. He's an all-pro. He's probably the best linebacker in football. Cool. So Haynes can't quite get there. But the thing is, for Lakin, like you said, if you watch number 70, he just shoots the gap. What's he doing? Like, if you saw Fred Warner actually tries to hold him up, he's like, wait a second, big boy.
Where are you going?
Where are you going? Where are you going? And I slowed it down a few more times, so I'll rotate it forward. As you can see, he goes nowhere. But what's he doing? What's he doing? Look at this. He's actually reaching out to him. He's like, dude, you should be blocking me. You should be trying to block me. I'm the best linebacker in the league, Brandon. And then K9 gets punished. What's he doing?
I don't know. I was so mad when so here's how I watched this game, because I wasn't able to watch live.
Right. Okay.
And so I'm following between scores and then field goals notifications. I had my notifications on for field goals.
Yeah.
And I think there was a retweet on after this play that said, "What is Grubb doing calling this play on 3rd and short?"
This play's great.
And so I specifically wanted to watch this play to see how terrible of a play call it was. And as I got to this point, I'm thinking, oh, shoot, this is actually the perfect play call, because they beat the Niners rush that was, expecting to go upfield after Geno's. And so they had the perfect play called. All Lakin has to do is block Warner. And
Mhm.
I
That's
the hilarious part is that Warner's the one that actually gets a hand on Tomlinson.
Yeah, so I probably gave Lakin like a better PFF grade because he was somehow that's a block in PFF world, right?
Sure.
But boy, oh boy, he just shoots the gap like he's looking for a safety, but it, he's looking. You need 3 yards.
You need 3
You need.
yards.
He's Fred Warner. You need 3 yards. It's oh my god. I like I said, woof, woof. I put it there at the end there. I had to bring in the Home Alone woof, because it's just too much. I'm done. Let's hit that whammy because I can't anymore, please. Ugh. All right. All right. Let me.
I take
recap.
responsibility,
Okay.
Marlon. Marlon says I have to take responsibility for the L for not watching live.
Not his fault. Hey, we got things with family and it happens sometimes. So, but yes, it is your fault. Marlon's 100% right and 0% wrong. So all good. And again, keep the comments coming. We are live on a Saturday because why not? And enjoy your relaxing Sunday tomorrow in our mini bye because Lord knows we need the time off. All right. So in number 2, we're back at it over here. And this one I called, if you remember that fanciful M&M's commercial with Santa Claus, I don't know, it's probably a long time ago now. It seems like, oh, it's like 3 years ago. It's probably like 20, but the whole one where Santa is putting the packages away, the presents, and the M&Ms are up and they're like, he does exist. And he says they do exist. And they both faint. Very, very comical. But what I want to show, Brandon, is that the defense that we've been like promised, it actually exists. It is there. It's there. And it shows up multiple times. And here we go. I'll just roll this forward and we'll look at this real quick. Okay, so setting the stage here, another 3rd and short, 3rd and 2, 49ers are on their own side, about the 34-yard line or so, 32, 33-yard line, and it's late first quarter, only 3-0. 49ers love this bunch formation. They got two wide receivers offset left. They got a tight end kind of tight, and then I think it's Ayuk to the top of the screen against Witherspoon. Now, the other part that's pretty cool about the Prime Video, the Prime Vision thing is that not only do they give you the squiggly lines, so you got to think about the webs and everything, Brandon, but they also annotate who's who, and they start to circle who might be blitzing, and the algorithm's always running. So what I wanted to show here is that this is kind of neat because what we said is, what can we do in a short week to try and get better against the run, better run fits? Can we do this while we're in shorts preparing for arrival? And this is kind of cool because you got Mafe and you got Derek Hall stacked next to each other. And then as we rotate this forward, just play it out and what we can talk about it as it goes here. You get a simulated blitz, right? So the red circle up top there, that's Baker. So he's on a sim blitz. He drops back, and then he's just preventing if it was going to be a scramble on a short 3rd and 2, and then you get a 1-on-1 win. Julian Love does what he has to do, quickly follows, I think it's a tight end across the fields here. And it is like, to me, when we talk about speeding the clock up, and that's the only angle they gave you, so that's all I got there. But when we talk about speeding the clock up for the quarterback, making them make decisions, making them uncomfortable, and getting pressure near immediately, this play has it all, Brandon. So I want to call it out as an in that all is not lost with this defense. It's there. It's just not there consistently enough. And I'd love to hear what you think.
And that's the big part of it, is the inconsistency shows up, I think, more often than we would expect, but also, yeah, we're 6 games in. So maybe we should be a little bit more patient and expect some inconsistency. But on this play, Love does a great job following Kittle, like he pointed out, to the pressure, and that it looks like they're sending a blitz, so he's going to want to get rid of it early. And actually, they do apply a little bit of pressure on the backside too.
They get pressure
and Purdy
right away.
has to make a dude miss and get this throw off. So yeah, it's a little bit more of this, please.
Yeah, this is exactly. And what I was texting with you and Adam before, I was like, guys, like this first half defense was actually good. And you had and I gave it the,
except when it wasn't.
Yes, yeah. Except when it wasn't. And that's one play, and it's a bad play, and it's a horrible play. I understand all those things, but the first half defense was actually pretty darn crisp. If we don't put ourselves in stupid situations and fumble kickoffs and have bad interceptions when we're driving. And I get all the, woulda, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I get all that. I understand it. It's closer to good than people realize after 3 losses, Brandon. That's my main point.
It feels like at least the optimistic part of me feels like that's true.
Oh, me too. All right. Well, that was another in. Let us get back to a couple more outs, but let's get to one and hit that whammy, please. Okay, we're getting on over to out number 3. Let me just cue it up over here. And there we go. Okay, perfect. I think I called it something. I probably did. Yes. All right. So I called this one Basic Instincts. And, for those who are of a certain age, you could probably remember the movie and all that stuff. And maybe there'll be a GIF later. Maybe there won't be. But, we'll see how PG. Careful. It might be spicy. All right. So let's get to it here. What do we got? We got 1st and 10. Now it's 13-0 ball game. Still second quarter. I really did gravitate towards a lot more of this because you go down 16-0. You give up a touchdown drive to basically start the second half. And yes, we get lucky, or a nice play by Laviska, but we turn the table with the second kickoff return of the entire year in the NFL. You can't count on that stuff. Just like, by the way, you can't count on a 102-yard fumble, recovery return the week previous. This is very, very close to another blowout. But in this play, we got 1st and 10, 4:04 to go in the second quarter. And let's see, Niners are about the Seahawks 13-yard line, and we'll play it forward here. Little motion from Ayuk from right to left, and Purdy and shotgun. What we have. Oh, I think I'm on an out. Oh man, I think I goofed, Brandon. I think I went. I think I'm on the last in, my man. Hold on 1 second. My fault. Yep. Well, this is okay. It's live. This thing happens. What can you do? We'll bounce around. Let's see. Okay. So last out, dude. Hey, this is, I did call it basic instinct. Last out. This is all about D. We're getting a punt here, 4th and 3 with 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. And what I'm showing here is, I know that Dee Williams had some issues. He had some communication issues with Laviska. He had a punt that ended up hitting his thumb where he laid on the ground, didn't even go for it. Yeah. Of all those, Brandon, to me, this is actually the worst one because the instincts are not there. The reason is, I'm okay with you letting the ball bounce at the 5, typically, right? But not when you have this much space and yards are at a premium, and all freaking year long they've been pinning us at like the 1 yard line, 5 yard line, 2 yard line. When he lets this ball bounce, and I freeze it a couple times up here later, just to show exactly, like, boom. Okay, so basically right here, ball's bouncing. There's a lot of green in front of you. The other Niners behind you, catch the ball, go upfield. We need yards. And in general, Dee Williams, he's really hurting the team more than he's helping, Brandon. I didn't hear anybody talking about this one because the other ones might have been more egregious. But this one, to me, shows a lack of instinct and knowing your surroundings. Love to hear what you think.
I guess with this one, it didn't bother me too much because what you're hoping for here is for the ball to hit the ground and then go into the end zone, and then you can bring it out to the 20. So I think that's maybe more likely. And gosh, I feel like you didn't really lose anything because even if he catches it, or because if he fair catches it, you get it right there anyway. If he does catch it, maybe he does get out at the 10. But I would rather have it at the 20 versus the 10.
Oh, I hear that. Yeah. I just, he's got a 49er flying by him on the right-hand side. So the guy's there to play goalie. It's just I don't know. I don't see it. And I think if he catches this thing at the 5, I think he's getting at least 10 yards. And he could just go make a beatline, not even take a hit. Just,
right.
Dodge out the 15-yard line. But anyway, that's my basic instinct gift. And it was not the other one. So, all right. Anyway, let's get back to at least one more in. How about that?
Okay.
All right. Thanks. All right. last in, and I got to go backwards because I went the wrong way before, which is a-okay. But I think you might have seen it on screen. I'll just start playing it here for everybody. But I really love this play. And again, this is another example where the defense was pretty good and very, very good, actually. So you got this again, 1st and 10, 4 minutes to go. Niners at the Seahawks, the Seahawks 13-yard line. Ayuk's coming right to left in motion. And it's going to be a little handoff to, at this point, Guerrero, who was subbing for Mason, who ended up with like an AC joint in his shoulder. And what I want folks to watch is, again, it's the formation. I don't know if you noticed in the game, because I know you were kind of rewatching it and not watching it live, so I don't know what version you caught. But they also moved Leo Williams. He was playing edge quite a bit. That's pretty cool. It's like, and by the way, as an edge, he was a monster, Brandon. He just kept winning. And I know he's a very good football player, but we tried that with Draymond Jones. Draymond Jones has been, I don't know, what kind of grade would you give him as a Seahawk so far? 8F.
A D, probably, based on pay scale. Like if he were just like average dude on the team, not making a lot of money, I think he'd probably grade out more as like a C or a B. But based on salary, it definitely drags that down.
I agree. It's in that D range, maybe D plus ish, but they moved him from basically a defensive tackle and made him an edge so he could play the run and get a little bit more speed, which is part of his game when he came over from Denver. And it's like, okay, I guess it's not amazing. It's in that D to D plus range. Not great, which is not very good for 17, 18 million a year. Leo Williams, they start mixing them up and they put them on the edge, and we get this little beauty right here. So, and I have a couple, I zoom in a little bit as well, but what I want folks to see is that, dude, he's not doing this versus just any old 49er. Do you notice who he's making look like a fool in this play, Brandon?
Trent Williams. Yeah.
Trent Williams. This is, and I know Leo is really good, but Trent Williams is all pro, all world, Hall of Fame good left tackle. And Leo just does a number. He sleds him first and foremost, right? You see Trent's hand shoot straight up like he's the sled itself, the inanimate object. So he sleds him, gets him way vertical, rips it, dips inside, and then just makes a tackle for TFL here, or tackle for about a half-yard loss. This is really good football by Leo Williams, Brandon. He was not the problem. And I'll leave that on screen right there. Leo pointing at Leo Williams, not the problem, Brandon.
Yeah, Dizzy 91 recognizing it in chat as well. Yeah, nice. A really nice rep by Williams there. He did grade out in the top 5 and really top 3 of the guys who played majority of the snaps. That's the other part about Williams, is that he played 59 of the 65 snaps out on the field. And I think with those defensive line guys, you do want to have a little bit more of a rotation, but with injuries, those types of issues, you got Leonard Williams, you got Jaron Reed. Both those guys had pretty solid games overall. And as you can see there, Leonard Williams, not the problem. 5 pressures overall too, and plus getting that stop.
Yeah, he's fun. He is fun. And I like, look, the Pollyanna in me, the optimist in me, still looks at a lot of these plays and goes, it's, again, closer than it appears to be good. Now, the second half, a lot of this ins and outs, a lot of this was first half stuff. And I rewatched the whole thing, but I was just like, there was more. There was certainly more energy from the defense in the first half. And we had our moments, we had our chances in the second half. We get within 6. Offense sputters again, it just kind of wore down. And then, of course, later in the game, they give up the big run and it's, sayonara, it's over. With that, I don't know, Brandon, I was very disappointed on Thursday night. The next day, I was like, oh God, this is horrible. When I rewatched this today, the beginning, I was like, oh, this is as bad as I thought it was. But then as it went on and on, I was like, man, it wasn't terrible. It really, really, really wasn't. Am I nuts? Am I just too much of an optimist? Or do I see what, are you seeing a little bit of what I saw?
I think that if you strip off the turnovers, if you strip out some of the big plays and focus on just the good stuff, then yeah, it does look a lot different. And I mean, I did the same thing too as
So
I'm
funny.
going back and rewatching. It's like, well, yeah, if they don't throw into coverage there, like you're looking for uncharacteristic type moments and focusing, on the trying to weed out some of the inconsistency stuff. It's just if this team would play consistently
Right.
good instead of playing inconsistent, then just be good all the time. That's all we want.
Yeah, I mean, or at least like most of the time, like most quarters good. I think we'd win some games if we were. We might beat the Falcons if we're most quarters good. And I really do think we can. And but you're framing it exactly right. Which again, it leads me to believe it's more executional. It's now again there might be a deficit on defense with the types of linebackers to play these types of fits. I get that. I understand. I get it. The two high safeties, or even when they were in one high, some of the run fits were bad. Some were bad, but some weren't bad. And it's the big plays, the blown coverages, and of course the turnovers. We can't lose a turnover battle 3-0. We're not going to we'll barely beat anybody. And we're certainly not beating the likes of the 49ers, even if they were slumping a little bit. We're not beating them if we lose the turnover battle 3-0. I don't know. And it's not magic. I don't know how we just turn it on, but we cannot continue to put ourselves behind the 8 ball because we give them the football, Brandon.
No, the turnovers was a huge part of this game. It's been a huge part of the previous 2 losses too.
Yeah.
And I think what Newgash is getting here on the screen saying the Giants game was a disaster. This was a whatever. I think most of us probably went into these last 3 games. When you look at the schedule at the beginning of the season, you go, okay, well, the Niners, that could be a loss. And who did we lose to start this off?
The Lions.
The Lions, right. That one felt like a loss. So the one that feels like a disaster is the Giants game because it's a bad team and one of those 3 that you have that expectation that you should win. And I think that's where we're all feeling a little bit more pessimistic going forward. But again, a little bit of patience.
Yeah, a little bit of it is required. And then look, as optimistic as I've been this entire episode, I could also be realistic and be like, yeah, we're a Julian Love field goal block not happening away from probably losing to the Patriots. And then we play Skylar Thompson and they just don't run the ball for whatever reason. They just stop running the ball, which we covered a lot now. And then for 3 straight weeks, we kind of got pounded by teams.
But you're saying your pessimistic self thinks we could be 0-6 right now.
Yeah, well, at least 1-5. Yeah, at least 1-5. So, hey, split the difference. We're 3-3. There's still a lot of football to play. And there's a lot more to this episode. We call it From the Flock. We do not win. We do not start with an N. We do not get the brand in. There is no NBC. I am worried about our 3D printing trophy. I am worried about the machine. It's an expensive machine, Brandon. I mean,
it needs to be used to continue to work well.
I mean, should we create some sort of idol, like a Joe Boo type thing, like Major League that we could use to maybe rally the team? I mean, maybe we need to up our Hawkra with some 3D printed Hawkra, Brandon.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe we need to 3D print voodoo dolls for upcoming games to like a Kirk Cousins voodoo doll. Can we 3D print that and 3D print the pins that go into them where we need Boye Mafe to target?
I like that. And I like that so much that every time you hit the pin, either you put like a little audio trigger in there or something, or you hire somebody like on Fiverr, and it's every time you pin it, they go, "You like that? You like that?" I mean, you could probably get somebody on Fiverr for like $1 a scream is my guess.
It sounds like you can just clip the audio straight from Kirk in his post-game audio and just weave that in there.
If you want to do it that way, that's fine too. I'm trying to improve.
No, you don't even have to spend the money. Like we're trying to save and revive the 3D printer here.
I'll try to get back to the economy too, right? The people out there, they need it. But our people from the flock, and what we do now is we take all these from the Discord. I know that some folks, Chris Farnsworth, he's awesome. He talks to me throughout the game on Twitter. Other people still send me some ins and outs on Twitter. Very much appreciate that. What we've done this year, and probably like a year and a half now, is it's got to come from the Discord, because our Discord is where our members are hanging out. And Brandon, one more time, and if they want to become a member out on YouTube, they already know, hit that join. But what can they be doing in addition to that, or with as a alternative to that?
Yeah, getintheflock.com, $3 a month and above, get you into our Discord. You get a link right through there. And yeah, hop in there, hop in on game day and chat with us, and then leave your ins and outs in the channel for 3 and 3 out.
Yeah, and we'll start. We have of course we're starting here because it's Flocktimus Prime. Of course it's Keith. He is the first. He's the best. Unfortunately, he understands how this works and starts with an out. Love trying to show enough energy for the entire defense and blowing plays because of it. I'm assuming mainly that tackle on Debo. He also says out to Jay Harbaugh. I think Flocktimus has had enough of some really crappy special teams because it has not been good.
How about a live in from Carly Perkins, who is watching along in that moment in the fourth quarter when we thought the Niners were about to blow back-to-back 20-point leads in games. It was beautiful. That moment, yes, when they got a third down stop, we got the ball back, we're down 6 points, and we're thinking, man, oh man, if we can just put together a drive right now and pull ahead, the Niners will crumble. And I think, yes, the optimists among us, we were thinking exactly that.
Yeah, the Flocktimuses, the Optimuses, the whole thing already. I thought, I was like, all right, we're probably going to drive down and get 7 here, but it didn't happen. Not how it always shakes. I would just like, maybe next week in the fourth quarter, we're the ones who are up. And how about we're not down early? That'd be super cool too. Let's not get down 10 or 13 points early. That'd be dope. All right, we're going back to the Discord. Josh DeHuman says, in running the rock, in the needle throw to Noah Fant. That was a third down throw early. It was really nice outside shoulder. I remember that one, Josh. Into Sharps and K9, helping Geno out. There were pretty good blocks throughout the day from our running backs. And I also want to say, I like seeing K9 out there on throwing situations. He blocks just fine, Brandon. It's like Sharps might be a little bit better blocking, but when you measure the dynamicism between the two backs, all day with K9, he could be a third down back in my book anyway.
Yeah, I think it's fine. He does. I'm curious. Yeah, PFF graded out them similarly to this game. I think in terms of consistency, Charbonnet's a little bit better, but the ability's there.
The ability's there. All right, good.
RI911, our live executive producer, giving you the end, Clinton, for your gift game in Discord. Tybo gifts, all pro effort.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we use, in the Discord during the games, whenever there's a false start, I will routinely put up a GIF of Tybo with the old one of these thingies. Like you probably see that there. So one of those, did you do Tybo back in the day, Brandon? Was that one of the videos you were popping in to stay slim?
I remember Tybo. I was not a Tybo guy.
Gotcha.
I was more of the sweating to the oldies.
I can't bust your stones for that. He's an icon for a reason. All right, back to the Discord we go. We got Rising Hawker saying in uniforms. Hey, if we lose, we do not lose the uniform game because those blues are so nice.
We've got Amy in the Discord, tackler giving the out to tacklers leaving their feet before getting where they need to be. Yeah, and I felt like we saw more of that early on, but maybe a little bit too much for Amy on this one too.
And I think Amy during the game was calling out Julian Love for leaving his feet on the Kittle touchdown. And it just, Amy's great. I love Amy. I would just disagree with that one because it's a nice route first of all, it's at the goal, it's literally at the goal line, right there, right? It's a nice out. It's a beautiful pass. And I think Love's only chance was to leave his feet and just try to swat it away. That's a hat tip. That was Purdy on time, a perfect ball by Purdy, hauled in by a good tight end who keeps both feet in bounds and does a toe drag swag. You tip your hat and you receive the football. All right, I'll take Josh DeHuman back again. He says, in Chenault return for touchdown. Needed that energy. Do you think he puked because he was just like, when did he puke? Did he puke after that? I think it was after.
Yeah, I remember them mentioning it on the broadcast. I think it was probably after that run. Yeah, I think you're right.
I think so.
It's weird. It's not listed in the play-by-play. I like to go to the play-by-play. They did, they mention who tackled who.
Right.
They don't put up
projectile vomits is not a stat line in 2024. Well, like in the Olympics, they add things, sometimes terrible things to the Olympics. Maybe if we petition strongly enough, we can get projectile vomiting added as a stat line for ESPN and other places.
Here we go. Marlon has the timestamp on it. It was about 15 minutes after the return.
Gotcha. All right. Well, something returned. All right. Who do you got?
All right. We've got, there's somebody here in the chat that, blue and green zone with the live out, the Walker penalty with 4.5 minutes left, taking away a DK touchdown. Yeah, man, that was brutal. And also, I'm not quite so sure, like, where that was, what the issue was, as far as I have a hard time judging what is an actual penalty on those types of penalties. The two guys in motion, the guy not getting set, but you're allowed to have guys in motion. Is it? I don't understand it. I've watched football for all these years, and I still I can watch that play and go, that looks similar to so many other plays that I've seen that they don't call penalties on.
Yeah, it's like one of those. It's almost CFL, but not quite CFL. So it's like what's going down, but it is what it is. Two dudes in motion, and K9 has to come to a stop. He never does. He just keeps like kind of shuffling. It's like a rolling stop sign. He just doesn't stop. It's it's a terrible, stupid rule. It does not impact the play whatsoever, but it's the rule. And he's doing it right in front of the lineman. He's like right there. So the guy just goes, yep. And that's it. And DK is literally a 1/4 of a toe with the end of the first half non-touchdown that he came down with, right? And then that play, it's a whole different angle on DK and a whole different Seattle game if Walker just stops and if DK could get that 1/4 of an inch of a toe in at the end of the first half. He has a 100-yard, 2-touchdown day, and nobody's talking about that he's slouching a little bit on the sidelines. Do I like the slouching? No, I don't. I do not like the slouching. I'd rather see him be a better leader. With that, nobody's talking about that if he has 2 touchdowns, another 110 yards, and he's like that freaking close. He's 2 little toe steps away from that kind of day, Brandon.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Really close. Yeah, I think you're up. No, me. All right, B-Wags biceps out. Seeing KJ on the Niners sideline makes me sick to my stomach. Maybe that's what Laviska saw, Brandon.
That could be it, because it also made me want to vomit. Rising Hawker with the in to number 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. That's okay. All right, we're going to go down to Hawk Van Dyke.
I thought it was maybe the return. Is Laviska number 1?
Oh, gotcha. I thought it was like Mendelbaum. I thought it was like you think you're better than me, Seinfeld number 1. Yeah, Laviska's number 1. That's good call. So Laviska, that's a beautiful return.
It's an in.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Hey, at least he made up for the fumble. The fumble's egregious when you're down. What was it, 10-0 at that point? That's a bad fumble, man. Down 10-0. You give him the ball back at the 30. We got to stop that crap. All right. Hawk Van Dyke, of course, Bloomy says out. We have only beaten rookie or crap AFC quarterbacks. 0-3 versus the NFC, 0-1 versus the division. And he also says, this is who we are, but I'm okay with it. I was very vocal about accepting a 5-12 season going forward in the subsequent years. Basically, Bloomy was very early on we should move on from Pete Carroll. And he did say back then and continues to, if there's growing pains, so be it.
All right. I think we're going to have to keep this to about one more each to wrap things up.
Let's do it.
Really want to say that I appreciate everybody who tuned in live, including live executive producer R911 with the super chat. And let's say, who do I want to take for the last? Okay, let's do an optimistic in with Josh DeHuman. Like the Lions and the NFC North, it will take time, but we will become the bully again.
I like that. You know what? We don't even, just like when we start with an out, let's end with an in. Let's end it right there. I wish everybody a just awesome Sunday. Let's see, whoever's playing the Rams, go that team. Whoever's playing the Cardinals, also go that team. And may our Seahawks get healthy. May we get right. And may we get ready for a tough game coming back to the East Coast. And let's just go beat these Falcons. They're not that good. They're a little bit heroic, They got some heroics in them, sure, and they pulled out a couple of games out of there. You know where, Brandon? The NFC West is not that good. All is not lost. We could still take this thing and hit that YouTube survey. It's still out there. It'll be up there for like another 24 hours. Are we a bad team? Are we a wild cardish team? Or can we still beat these 49ers and capture the division? Love to see the votes, Brandon.
Yes, go other teams facing our NFC West rivals, because look, everybody in the division right now is going, ooh, I think my team could win this division. Like
Sure.
Rams fans, the two of them are saying that to each other. And Cardinals fans are saying, yeah, our team can actually make the playoffs this year. No, let's see them lose and get them out of here, because we want our Seahawks in the playoffs after we go on a huge run and take down the Niners next time.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.